About that time? Shall we start? Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming today. I know we're pretty far away from the water today here in Phoenix, and many of you landlubbers must have had a lot of fun last night pillaging and looting, but hopefully you'll bear with us this morning. Our presentation is called Hidden Treasure, Discovering Unintended Benefits of Technology. And we're from U of R School of Law. This is Fall Overboard Birch, Kim the Kraken Edwards, and I'm Carl Scurvy Legs Ham.
Gold doubloons and pieces of 8, handed down to Applegate, from buccaneers who fought for years for gold doubloons and pieces of 8.
In front of you is a curtain. Behind that curtain are treasures.
Join us as we voyage aboard the Calamari, or Calimari. We'll show you technology that was brought on for a specific purpose, but as luck would have it, contained hidden treasure and a secret map that has taken us far beyond our original planned course. And at that point, I'll stop the pirate voice. Just because something doesn't do what you planned it to do doesn't mean it's useless. And we found that out in many instances at our law school this past year or so. We've been trying to do new things in all kinds of areas, and we'll explain those different things that we've been trying and show you the hidden treasure we found along the way. First of all,
Heist the Jolly Roger!
Yes, Panopto. Well, the demand for lecture capture has really increased over the years, and I used to run around to every classroom with a camera on a tripod, and that just wasn't sustainable after a while. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Our university, in partnership with our main campus information services group, we looked at many different lecture capture products, and Panopto was the one that we settled on. The expected uses were to schedule recordings. Many professors actually have a no laptop policy, and so this was their concession to the students for not being able to take notes on their laptops, was they wanted to record every single class and make those available on Blackboard. We also have had students with disabilities who have trouble taking notes, and I record classes for those students, all of their classes throughout the semester, and share them with them on Blackboard, as well as Box. Professors also can create and manage their own recordings independently, and Panopto has been just wonderful. The price was right. We were able to put it in all of our classrooms eventually, and so that's been working out great. So, but there's hidden treasure that we found with this software. Some of the hidden treasure included being able to schedule remotely, which was just a wonderful thing. Some teachers used Panopto for teaching evaluation. This was a way for them to watch themselves and sort of self-critique. Also, flipped lectures. We initially got into it for lecture capture, but flipped lectures are another thing that professors have been able to use Panopto for. We also have been researching ways to for our academic continuity, I guess we'll call it, in the event of extended snow days or school cancellations, we wanted options for live streaming of classes so that students could even, attend the class virtually from home and not go play in the snow as they would probably want to. We've also, the stats that Panopto gives you, you can see who has watched the lecture and for how long, and also even which sections of the lecture that are most popular. Some students go back and watch certain sections. Another thing Panopto's been great for is we have large events sometimes at our small law school. We have a moot court room that can accommodate about maybe 200 people, but in the most recent event, the Juvenile Justice Symposium, we were able to allow 100 or so more people to attend in an adjoining room in the law school. And it was just like they were, in the same room, because they could watch it live in the next room, but still send questions over or go into the next room to ask questions. We didn't have to turn any people away. Also, Panopto, it's great that there's post-production flexibility. You can choose between a side-by-side video or a picture-in-picture video. It gives you many options for downloading the video itself and then editing it, and we could put it on YouTube. We could do all kinds of things with these videos. So Panopto's been great. And those are things that we did not know about sort of going into it, but as we delved deeper into the software, realized that, wow, this is a pretty robust software, and there's a lot of things we can use it for. And this is just a screenshot. This is another hidden treasure. It's kind of, I guess some people might think it's sort of like Big Brother. I am Big Brother. I can see all the classrooms. These are just snapshots, so I can't actually listen in or watch the whole class, but I can see if there are people in the room, and I can see also, as you see on the bottom, if the recorder is disconnected, which means basically someone's turned off the computer. So, and that's not good.
Shiver me timbers!
There's also challenges with Panopto. Sometimes the recordings fail to upload. Most of the time I've found that that's because they're playing the PowerPoint from either the cloud or a thumb drive, and Panopto is looking for the files and it can't find them when they remove their thumb drive or they disconnect from the cloud. So this has given us a better understanding of how professors bring their files and their multimedia to class, and it's been a teaching opportunity, a training opportunity. Also, unfortunately, sometimes people turn off the computers, which is a real pain in the arse for me, because I need a dependable service for the students to be able to get their recordings, and when someone turns off the computer, that just throws a wrench into it. So we have student associates who help. I'll say, hey, there's a computer turned off in room 102. Can you please go turn the computer on? And I can even see that remotely on my phone. If I had a recording scheduled today, I could look on my phone and see, oh, that recorder is disconnected, and make a call and have someone go turn it on. Some professors, this is another challenge, some professors don't want to be recorded. Whether or not, Ralphie has a relative who died or a great job interview, some professors flatly refuse, and they say, look, you can come to my office afterwards, we'll talk about the material, but I just don't want to be recorded, and that's their prerogative. Some of the reasons, I should have put this in quotes, this is debatable, as we've heard in some of the sessions. There's no substitute for a real lecture. Some would argue that a virtual class or a recorded lecture is a great substitute for a live in-class lecture, but some professors feel otherwise. And then some other professors are just camera shy, and we have to respect that. The last challenge with Panopto was deployment and scalability. It costs money to put microphones and cameras in every classroom, but an easy, quick fix for me was go buy a webcam and put it on top of the computer. Those have pretty good quality these days and a pretty good microphone, so that has worked in some of the smaller classrooms where we didn't have the infrastructure. Poll Everywhere is another thing that we've tried out on our voyage on the Calimari at U of R. We were using Turning Point for a long time. Turning Point is another polling software that has physical clickers. The software updates have stopped, and they've moved to the cloud, and their pricing has sort of changed, and we wanted to try something new. So Poll Everywhere was a product that we tried out. Polling, as you guys probably know, it motivates class discussion. It gets people talking and gets people engaged with the content. You can gauge class understanding. And anonymous polling, it gives students, the courage to speak out on a subject that they may not feel confident to share, on the spot in person. So polling's great. We already knew that, and we wanted to continue doing that with Poll Everywhere. The hidden treasure that we found is one particular professor decided this is a great way to take attendance as well, and she came up with clever questions at the beginning of every class to make sure that a student would have to be in class to know what that question was. Of course, maybe there's sneaky ways around that, but I thought it was pretty clever. Blackboard integration also exists for Poll Everywhere. You can, pipe the grades into Blackboard and have those available. We've also used it during conferences, which has been really useful and way to engage the audience.
Send him to Davy Jones' locker.
The challenge is Poll Everywhere that you must install an app, and each profile on each computer in our classrooms, it's not something that we can do as an admin for the whole computer. Maybe we'll have to work with IT and figure out a way to do that. But for now, every professor who wants to use Poll Everywhere in PowerPoint, embedded in PowerPoint, has to install an app. And also the transition from Turning Point to Poll Everywhere has been a little slow. Sometimes the conversion takes a long time, and it's a totally different thing that professors need to know to learn how to use it and create the slides in a new way. The final thing that we've used we had used Turning Point traditionally was for faculty voting in faculty meetings for candidate hiring, really important decisions. And sometimes we needed an option for proxy votes. And with the physical clickers, we were able to designate one clicker per absent faculty member. With Poll Everywhere, the logistics of that are a little more confusing. You don't have an actual physical clicker for each absent faculty member. And of course, there's other ways around that probably, but they're not as obvious, and take a little more convincing to say, well, this iPhone is Professor X, and this iPad is Professor Y, or whatever. So we're still trying to figure out a way to do that in the way that we used Turning Point. And we have a poll here that we would like you to take with us. Do you want to explain this, Kim?
Yes. So, are you using polling software? Choose A if you are. B if you. I guess I can look on here. Well, I can't see that.
B if you be.
B if you be. Why we're just starting to look onto the horizon, or C, no one has expressed interest in that sort of booty. So, and I wish you could see that graphic. It's such a cool graphic. It says, "Quit staring at my booty," but you can't see it as well on the slide.
Here's another thing that we had to learn through use of Poll Everywhere was if you don't hide the results during the poll, people will change their votes depending on what they're seeing on the screen. So we'll just leave you on your honor for that.
Yeah.
It's not graded, don't worry.
You look like trusty lads. So it looks like most everyone is using some kind of polling software.
Anyone out there care to offer an opinion on the one that they're using?
We would prefer to point to one faculty member using Poll Everywhere, and we're now exploring the
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a clink.
Poll Everywhere is far simpler than the
I know there are a lot of options out there. I'm just curious to see if there's others out there. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, like a demographic,
Yeah.
yeah, question. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Okay, and I'll try.
Full ahead!
I'll try to hurry up here. I know I'm maybe taking a little too much time. Am I doing okay? Okay. Okay. The final thing that I'm going to explain that we've explored, the university was using Bright Cove, yes, and that includes a really expensive box that they have to bring to whatever room that they are live streaming an event from. The quality's great, it looks wonderful, and there's all kinds of branding opportunities with Bright Cove and things like that, but we just, in some instances, didn't want to have to go through all the hoops to get them to set up Bright Cove and bring the fancy cameras over, and we just wanted to live stream an event using the cameras that were in our MOOC courtroom, which is where we have a lot of our events. So using the video feed that goes into the DVD recorder, I just unplugged that, plugged it into a little video converter box that I plugged into my Mac, downloaded an encoder, which was Wirecast, one of the ones that YouTube recommends, and signed up for a YouTube Live. Well, I got my account enabled for YouTube Live, and this makes live streaming events really simple and easy for us. Our Journal of Law and Technology was one of the first to request that we live stream one of their symposiums. They had a lot of speakers they were very proud of. They knew a lot of people around the country would want to watch the event. And we made it happen at the drop of a hat, literally, because they didn't give me much notice. And they said, look, we want this, and we decided we want to do this, and can you make it happen? I said, well, you know, there's an easy way to do this. So YouTube, not only is it easy and simple, all you need is a laptop, a camera feed, and an encoder, and it's also free, at least for now. So don't tell YouTube that they have something that people would be glad to pay for. It's been great. Some of the hidden treasure of YouTube streaming live is that people have actually, in some instances, been able to get CLE credit by watching online. Those were people in other states. Our state requires that you know exactly who's logged in and watching, and they have to have a direct channel to the speakers to be able to ask questions. But I think one person that had called us from somewhere in Georgia or Texas was able to actually get CLE credit by watching our symposium on this live streaming. Another thing is YouTube archives the footage automatically into your account, and you can go back, download it later, and edit it on your own, or even edit it within YouTube. So it's just been wonderful to be able to explore that option.
Walk the plank.
Some of the challenges of YouTube Live are that, you know, of course, they have to publish as well as promote the link ahead of time, so that takes a little forethought. It can also encourage people not to attend in person. They say, oh, I'll just watch it from home or watch it on the treadmill. But we want people actually in the audience, and so we don't actually promote the YouTube live stream much ahead of time. So it's a double-edged sword there. We want people to watch it, but we don't want people to be dissuaded from showing up. It also adds technical complexity to the events. Sometimes, you know, it's just a whole other thing for me personally to worry about. Luckily, we have people to help out with the events, but if it creates an expectation that every single event is going to be streamed, and I don't know that that's necessary, really. My mustache just fell off. If something is, this is the final challenge that I'll go over. If something is said that really, you know, something in the audience or something one of the speakers says that they might want to take back, you can't really do that you just can't do that if it's a live stream. And we had one instance where an audience member stood up and said, I got some malware from your website. And we're like, what? Like, how did you get malware? I mean, this woman downloaded something from some website and thought that she got it from one of our law journals. And it turned out that wasn't true, but she said it in front of a huge audience as well as going out live, and we had to do a lot of sort of damage control after the fact to say, well, actually this came from another source. It wasn't our Journal of Law and Technology trying to sabotage everyone. So I'll end with a quote by the father of Japanese short stories, author of Rashomon, Ryunosuke Satoru. Let your dreams outgrow the shoes of your expectations.
All right. Now I'll start with the quote. So Bill Gates says that, sorry, I feel like my mouth is big enough that I really don't need a microphone, but that's okay.
We're recording.
Yeah, we are recording. So Bill Gates says technology is just a tool. In terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them, the teacher is the most important. So as we talk about cool technologies and things like that that we can use in the classroom, we need to remember that what's important in the classroom is the teachers and the students. And so we're here to lend a helping hand or PowerPoint presentation, but that's really what's important with education. So one of the things that we have in our law school is iPads for our clinics. So how all this started to be is, probably 10 years ago, the university had a mobile initiative, and it started with iTouches. And so how that program worked was people could put in a proposal to get the technology to use in their class. And one of our first professors who was able to successfully do this was teaching trademarks. And so what she was having students do with the iTouches is go around and doing surveys for brand recognition and gathering results that way. So as years progressed, iPads came to be, and one of our clinicians proposed, I think I can really use these in my clinic. My students go out and they gather all this information and they have to meet with people. And this will be instead of having to always bring paper copies back and paper copies to sign, having everything electronically would be useful. And it was such a great program that we decided to go ahead and fund all the clinics. And so we have a pool right now of about 30 iPads that go out to students every semester. And so some of the hidden treasures that we've had is we were able to use those iPads in other ways. So in the springtime, we have what we call a technology boot camp for our students, and we have clinicians and prosecutors and different folks from the legal community come in and talk to our students about their personal use of technology as a lawyer. And so one of these folks that comes in is a prosecutor in Virginia, and he's petitioned the courts that he works with to be able to bring in his iPad, and he uses his iPad for evidence, evidence and different things, and he also uses a ton of different tools on his iPads just to get his work done. So this past time,
This is Tom Shia.
Yeah, Tom Shia. So this past technology boot camp, we loaded some of our iPads with some apps that we've purchased for our students. So those students who aren't in clinics had an opportunity to touch the iPads, play with the iPads. That group loved the iPads that came, and then they're like, there's more uses for this. Like I can see in Legal Skills 3, this would be a cool thing to use. And so we're